have just one question. I think I've already answered all of your questions, Brody replied before casting a meaningful glance in the direction of the man's hand. Jonathan shook his head even as he removed his hand. You haven't answered this one. Brody hesitated a moment before nodding. Why did you do this? Seriously? The man wanted to know why? Anger boiled up inside Brody, but he didn't allow it to boil over. He never allowed it to boil over. He was too careful for that, too controlled to lose his temper. A former girlfriend had attributed his nature to his zodiac sign. Virgos, apparently, were known to be meticulous, as well as possessing less desirable traits, such as being overly critical and even harsh. In truth, he could be all those things. But when it came to business, he figured they served him well. It was best to keep one's emotions in check, even in this, with the need for vengeance fueling his actions. Brody had approached the takeover as analytically as a chess player would while working his way toward his opponent's king. When Brody didn't answer right away, Jonathan added, I get the feeling it's personal. Personal? Brody said the word slowly, allowing his tongue to roll over each syllable. It took an effort to keep his expression impassive. Still, he couldn't resist giving the knife he'd just inserted one final, brutal twist. Sometimes tragic things happen. In time, you learn to accept what can't be changed. Jonathan frowned, appearing puzzled by the unsolicited advice. It was clear he didn't remember that he'd spoken those very words to reporters after a court had ruled, erroneously in Brody's opinion, that neither he nor his company would be held criminally responsible for Stuart and Teresa Abbott's accident. A generous payment had been issued to the Abbott's family with the condition the matter be dropped. As the lawyer had explained to Brody at the time, it was better than what they could hope to wring out of either Jonathan or his company in a civil trial. Take the money. Try to put this tragedy behind you, the lawyer had advised. As if that were possible. Blood money. That was what it had been. But Brody, who'd been 22 at the time, had agreed to the settlement. He'd had 2 younger sisters to raise. So it's strictly business, Jonathan said, but he looked far from convinced. He didn't owe the man answers. He didn't owe him anything. With a shrug, Brody pulled open the door and strode out, only to find himself nose to forehead with the pretty young brunette he'd spied around the office a couple of times now. She backed up a step, but not before their bodies had thumped together. The collision wasn't exactly unpleasant. Her soft curves made certain of that. But her identity, as well as a severe frown that had her lips drawn into an upside-down U, had Brody taking a quick step back. Catherine Douglas, Jonathan's daughter and only child. According to Brody's intel, she was 29, with a master's degree in business administration from Northwestern University, where she'd also earned an undergraduate degree in transportation and logistics, and graduated in the top 10% of her class. As impressive as she was beautiful. But she was his enemy's daughter, which also made her off-limits. Her attire was no nonsense, as was the way she wore her hair, pulled away from her oval face in a ponytail that trailed halfway down her back. Her father called her by her full name, but seeing her in business attire made Brody wonder if anyone ever referred to her as Kathy or Kate or by some other less regal-sounding moniker. Right now, she didn't look much like the heiress she was. She'd been surprisingly quiet during the board meetings Brody had attended, perhaps because she wasn't an actual member. She'd sat in at her father's behest, but apparently only to take notes and pour coffee. A waste of her skills if her background check was...